There we go.
Okay, thank you. Kelly is a poet, playwright, writing workshop facilitator, and an amazing photographer. She came to our Artist in Poetry series, and her work is just totally amazing. She is the author of 2 chapbooks, and her bio is very, very extensive. So please be sure to go to her website, and I give you Kelly.
Okay, Kelly gives you 2 seconds because I'm trying to open the document that I saved so carefully for the reading. And I'm not finding the one I want. For some reason. But hello, it is totally a pleasure here to be with all of you. And I'm very, very moved and grateful to you, Gloria, and everybody at Červená Barva Press who produces these readings. And congratulations on 15 years. It's really a thrill to be invited to read with Lo and with Varsha. So thank you. And with all these wonderful guests. I think the first poem I want to read tonight is in honor of my daughter. I'm going to be a grandmother. And so I have 2 poems about babies that I wanted to read tonight. My daughter, who's pregnant, happens to be listening tonight. And I'm not sure she's heard either of these. And so that's where I would like to begin. And the first one is, I want to mention a quote by Tracy K. Smith that I really love, what she says about poetry. She says, "But I think the death of a moment is something a poem is fighting against. I find that the lyric poem in particular is wonderful at going back to a moment where something was felt or realized and allowing that moment to linger or expand and allow the poet or the speaker of the poem to mine that moment really thoroughly, which doesn't happen in life, which doesn't happen in real time. Poems obey a logic that pulls us outside of time," she says. So this is a poem about breastfeeding my last child, my youngest child. Feeding you at the table for the first time. Strapped in your hand-me-down high chair, blue, bought for your brother, banged up by your sister, your first bowl of grains, 2 scoops of flake rice, hot water poured over. Each takes a turn, silver spoon to your lips, speed the plow. This clamorous planet, your tribe, is earnest to feast you. Before I closed your door, no one shared how we starred. My glands milked your first swallow, a lobster in butter. I rocked and you spit up the spoil. I ate us more spinach and carrots and corn and a vitamin. I baked us a gingerbread man who ran. Now the runners unscrew. Our white wicker chair disappears up xylophone stairs. Thank you. And just brought that chair back down for my daughter to use. And another poem that is called Where Babies Come From, because every parent is asked that question by each of her children at some point. Where do babies come from? And the first time they ask, they probably aren't looking for facts or science. What they want to know is, where did I come from? How did I get here? How did you receive me? Did you want me? Are you glad I'm here? And does my presence make a good difference in the world? And I've always wondered what my own birth was like in 1958. And this was the land where they put mothers to sleep. Shocking. So I wanted to be awake. I was awake. I've never been more awake in my life. So here's my short, lyrical, dramatic monologue addressed to my daughter. Where babies come from. How once in a second my ovary shed a follicle egg, the very same second your father was kissing me, cocked his head, beat his heart, frisked me up onto his shimmying hips, flinging us twisted all into a whirl, sent my wish dizzying into his seed, a holy explosion of foaming and whiting, tumbled up twisting of rope-like strands, anchoring you in a crystalline shell, spiraling into my womb like a nest. No, much fresher than twigs. So by the close of that singular day, you rested to heat all the hours for quickening your fingernails, muscles, and feet. Yes, so you can kick, not to break out. I had to push. Yes, I pushed, and you squeezed through the neck, not my neck, more like a canal. You might call it a tunnel. No, it wasn't too dark. Well, you closed your eyes, held your breath. Does it hurt? You forgot. I do. I remember you came in waves, like an ocean, like pow, pulled me under and whisked me, churned my brains up and frisked me. How is it over? After pant, after gushed, after gasp, and earth quaked. So that is where babies come from. I wanted to mention very much my poems come, as Gloria said, thank you so much for the kind words about my photography. I do photograph place. I do walk religiously every day in nature. And my poems really do come, I think, a lot from a sense of place. And I wanted to read a quote by Dennis Merritt from Land, Weather, Seasons, and Insects, an archetypal view, because I think it really speaks to, for me, where the poems germinate. He says, to sense the spirit of a place, I analyze an environment as if it were a dream. And like a dream, I consider every element in the environment for its potential depth and interior nature. I look for metaphors contained in the image, its as-if dimension. What scientific facts will deepen an understanding and appreciation of the image? What are its symbolic dimensions? How does it appear in myths and stories? The result is that one can see into the environment and experience its essence. I have the good fortune of living on the Charles River, and so the river runs through and inspires a lot of my poems. This is one I've been working on for a year. It's called Omen of Goat's Beard, Gone to Seed. It's about the wildflower called yellow goat's beard and an August day, almost August day. Omen of goat's beard, gone to seed. In the meadow grow the dandelionish crowns of salsify, quite lemony, but not pretty enough to be conspicuous in close proximity to lace and pods birthed from milkweed stars. Then in late July, goat's beard, past the bloom of its single-stemmed and careless life, is golden, gone to seed, a gorgeous god of downy pappus, blown back umbrellas. And we, heated and pressed into mattressy moss of almost August, dry under a sudden shelf of threat, rise up against a whisked-up giddy storm. And where is anyone's umbrella? Never mind, goat's beard portends the wind we're facing will be wilder. And because it's summer, I'm just going to read another summer-based poem, and this is one from childhood. It's a poem about going to the dentist. I don't know if anybody else has ever written a poem about going to the dentist, but I'm afraid I have. So it's called Count Backward. Words wear masks, his bossy thumbs jerk around inside your mouth, and see, he's aiming his needle for open your nice, clamped shut. You're resisting, even if your mother wants the jab done quick, but you can block him coming with your lips, refuse to let him stick you till he's mad and makes you exit without your trinket. A hospital nurse knows how to help you climb into a high cushioned chair. Unmasked, her face beams a grown-up. Safe, your nice mouth opens wide so she can reach the hurt. You have exactly the right kind of teeth, she counts. Only one is bad, one has to go away. All you have to do is sleep to be forgiven. Inhale backwards, counting 100, 99, 98, 97, waking up. She's smiling still, and there's your mother too, waiting. The rotten deed, it's done. And in the basket, choose from all the rings. A ruby glowing fits your finger close enough. You flaunt it to the beach. Your mother's rushing, your sisters and brothers have been swimming through one whole day. You can't get wet, but what you're wearing everyone wants, except it's yours. The nurse promised. Priceless, your mother says. It's time to go home. And on the fretful trek from beach to car, past bushes wild with berries, your tongue lifts cotton, licks a hole, tastes of blood. Now will your other teeth try harder to be good? I am going to close with one that I haven't read in a long time, but sort of going into the end of summer and early fall when the wild grapes are ripe in the woods and everywhere that they grow. And I wrote this poem some years ago when my youngest child went off to college, and was thinking about going off to college, and that I was for a time not going to have any of my children left at home living. And of course they always come back, but at this time I did not know that. So, wild grapes. Come into the sharp morning, listen. There is no empty nest. Every throbbing throat in this yellowing wood is roaring or whining, warning and waking you. Bring every worry and wish and admit you're wrong. You've been wrong all along in so many seasons of sobriety, planting caution, staking joy. It's harvest time. Walk toward this ending, breathing deeply into the dried basket of your belly where the root of surprise is stored. Let the gutsy scent of these wild grapes make you fall down drunk with ecstasy. The tomorrow you've been expecting will not come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, our next reader is Lo Galluccio. And besides being a poet, Lo is a vocal artist and has released 3 CDs. Červená Barva Press published Sarasota 7 back in 2008, and it is a prose memoir. And to read more about Lo, you can check out her website also. And she recently graduated from Stone Coast, the MFA program there. So yay, Lo. And I give you Lo.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Gloria. I'm thrilled that the press is 15 years old. You publish amazing work, and it's really an honor to be part of it. You know, I guess I'll just read some poems, and I'll start with some pieces from Terrible Baubles, which is a chapbook that came out in 2010. It was also made into a record with Eric Zinman, who may be here, I'm not sure. But he's a fabulous pianist, composer, and improviser. His record, Zither Gods, is quite amazing. You can look him up. And so I'll just read a few pieces from this book. This poem is called I Bit My Tongue. We serve as some sort of antidote, wouldn't you say? What my brother never told my mother is I wasn't thinking when I bit my tongue. I went to Spain and dark hills were horses. In my head, explosions rhymed. I bit my tongue serving justice, a red, red wine. What my brother never said. Sometimes we think about our father and cry. Sometimes we cry our father's cries, swerving America. Grief's a deserving blind eye. And this one is actually on the record. It's called Adam. Your memory flew up the tongue of spring, pink and feathered like silk. So cruel in my crotch, I saved the green shins, sit birds chirping my back. Shivering, I admire asparagus bones picketing a spot on the table. As aphids veil skin, a blue bulb chalks my brain, and I crave blankness. The uterus drips speed into my cup, but no howling kiss from your mouth. A cat bleeding air, my desire comes before the world wars. The decline in our empire is the knot in my stare. And this is actually not on the record, but it's a poem that I wrote during the Iraq War, standing waiting for a bus in Somerville. It's called Standstill. These are the blue sky days. These are the blue sky postcard days. These are the blue sky postcard construction site days. These are the blue sky postcard construction site orange cone days. These are the blue sky postcard construction site orange cone Brooks Pharmacy SUVs I'm not driving days. These are the Brooks Pharmacy SUVs I'm not driving, Iraq War I'm not fighting in days. These are the American Idol days. These are the American Idol pharmaceuticals we're swallowing to feel better days. These are the pill swallowing genome project sign days. These are the zebrafish stem cell research days of better pills. These are the better pill days for American idols. These are the zebrafish. I'll read one more from this chapbook. This is called Birthday, and it's a song on Terrible Baubles, the record, which is available on Spotify if you're interested. And the music was done by Dave Tronzo. Birthday. Throughout snow, I took my disease, a hunger gold, lace in windows where pleats of fortune were exhibited and stark. My disease took me west, where I promised myself to a white room asleep. Somewhere you were smiling. Your eye a scar slants bird toward me, winging in, and the corner of your eye became a bird. In night flying, I waken in liberty. It's my death in your mouth, night hearing its screams. A bell, or is it screeching? Then a restaurant full of him, full of men in himself, the weather straining to get by. Somewhere you were smiling. Your eye, a scar slants bird toward me, winging in, and the corner of your eye became a bird. Someone offers their eyes, and I must find a cake in stones to give. A slick knife as you, the butter hard at our gaze. Why does Christmas not fall unexpectedly like rain? To make the words I pray into the dream, the colorblind colorfall, the colorblind colorfall. Okay, I'll move to some newer pieces. These were all written in the last several years. And this is a poem called Women on Fire. That's never been published. Men like women who are on fire, that burn slowly like coals that they have to run their bare feet over. Men like women who can flare up over almost nothing, though they pretend to be annoyed. Men love women who can throw flames at their heads, women with hearts that simmer, especially in the summertime. A bonfire at the beach, a cleansing blow-up, a hearth that gently burns and keeps up the heat, pink volcanic heat, or smoldering like an abandoned cigarette. If you were told that men like women who are cold and beautiful like the moon, pale and calm but lunatic at heart, you have been misled. Men want heat and fire. They want their women very hot. So hot only one touch, resembling the strike of a match, will yield red and blue flames. Men crave women who are on fire, who keep them warm in all seasons. Okay, and this is a piece called But We Are Someone Else. It's taken from Frederick Seidel's poem, Prayer. We used to be like vanilla and licorice. We could fake coming like any desperado duet. I was the Yankee, you were the cowboy. We had big bulbous blue eyes like fish and a downward bow of a mouth like Houston orphans. We were broadcasters fighting over Palestine in the evening on a ship in frigid air February. We were the guy who took the wrong exit off the highway to get lost, the chick who stole happy cologne from the drugstore to elevate mood, the one on pro-vigil, the one who sniffed dope. We would crack but not shatter. We would still shatter but not disintegrate. We then disintegrated but reemerged at a different angle of spruce trees. We were as traitorous as a murder of crows. We loved our bamboo plants and view of Grendel's den. Our tongues got lost in the portals of wicked innocence, red and real, brown and peach with blood pits and pleasure. We were sex and her stepsister, sanity. We parked at Walden Pond and were slap happy over utensils at the Arsenal Mall. But we are someone else. And the last piece I'll read is, there is a reference to Walden Pond in that poem. And this is a piece that I wrote after a swim at Walden Pond with my ex. So it's a summertime poem. Walden. A little house in the woods built by the man who took solitude in nature as splendid and profound, the freedom man. His house surrounded by birch near a clear, cold pond formed by a beneficent glacier. First imagining how clear, how cold we waded in and swam, evading the fish nests and slimy rocks under our feet. It was so fantastic to swim in the pond together on an early summer morning, except for our failed romance, a dream that screamed like a wounded phantom, a bleeding turquoise fairy, skipping like a jagged stone, conniving like a black garter snake, the tongue of some threatening deity. The water was our sanctuary in the heat of August, so thrilling to be refreshed by this green water, so easy to be cooled out by the big pond. Nothing to shatter, nothing to repair, the damage beneath us like the fish nests and slimy rocks we evaded easily with our feet. Now I see we needed celebratory signs when we emerged, like ribbons or bells or shells. We needed a cornucopia of tears, a cachet of roses, pounding palominos across the sky to mark our victory in summer, near the little house, both museum and friend. Had we dove deeper, we might have retrieved our fractured hearts, locked in the brown dredges, yet still venal, still pumping blood. Those hearts were alive somehow, but buried. We could have been truly free, like the dead man's vacant little house, free of memory or regret. Like our past, it stood empty in the woods, elaborated by relics. We were its ghosts and its guests. Always, I liked the way you said, we'll do it again next year, that noble reassurance that it could all happen over again, only better, only differently. When your promises stopped, so did my calendar of gleeful anticipations. But the water is oh so cool and thrilling now. This slow, it's tremendous to share it with silver fish who have no money, their slim bones. It's delightful to be forgetful and forgiving about it all. Even with the eerie incarnations of our breakup here, fairy and snake, the pond is our rebirth and our communion. In summer, in water near the vacant little house, famous for his solitude and life, the trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Lo. So our next reader is Varsha, and she's a poet and fiction writer. Her work has appeared in Salamander, Painted Bride Quarterly, First Intensity, and many other magazines. Besides a writer, Varsha has served as an assistant district attorney for 20 years, and she's a regular at our poetry and translation roundtables, which I'm grateful for. And so I give you Varsha.
Thank you, Gloria. Congratulations on your wonderful press and your longevity. And thank you all for coming. My precious family's here and my beautiful friends and new friends. And thank you to the readers, Lo and Kelly, beautiful work. Okay, I'll read a few poems. This one's called Offspring. The first time I gave birth, I had an owl, a chick of natal down, talon, beak, and eye. I peeked through purple tears to say, "You're not what I expected." It trilled, then pecked my breast. The second time I bred, I had a rose bush, soil, petal, dew. I bent to plant a kiss and got a thorn stuck in my lip. I tried again for 3. I cried. I nursed the sky. I went to bed. I bled. I staged a sacrifice. A thunderstorm rolled by. I labored and delivered minerals to the millionth power, metamorphic mess of diamond, tourmaline, and jade, wailing, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." Mouths of crystal, lattice, blade. My owl has grown and flown. My roses bud and bloom and dry, and bloom and dry. My youngest wait in equipoise, cold comfort when I die. This is called Your Heart is Like a Small Brown Stone. Your heart is like a small brown stone. You dress it up in violet laces, ply it with sanguine caresses. Believe you leave no callous traces, but your heart remains the same, a small brown stone. Your heart is like a small brown stone. You teach it pretty pictures, sing to it from scripture, but it's been too long a fixture in your breast, the small brown stone. Your heart is like a small brown stone, dark inside and dry, no diastole, it's petrified, and yet you try to prop it on a pillow, set it on a throne, the small brown stone. Your heart is like a small brown stone, almost a pebble, standing mean against all tremble, lest you stumble on the fall and fall, alone and cold, and come undone from the small stone. Your heart's a small brown stone. It follows orders as it cordons off the scene of little murders, of the ones who dare to shudder at the sight of the brown stone. Your heart's a stone, a shard, a scree, each chamber emptied expertly, refilled with gravel. Still, I fear at autopsy, I'll find a cache of rubies bleeding from the cuspids of this heart that was your stone. This is a little villanelle called Recorded Deeds. I am old, my house is 140. Plot 4 laid out on Cambridge's poverty plain. I signed the deed to put my house in order. My worker's cottage lodged 6 men and 1 lonely father. Farm hands, laborers, tanners, all fallen behind. None survived to grow old, but the house turned 140. In wartime, the Japanese border planted and watered 1 spruce and 2 pines, high lords on the south-facing side. Good deed, mortal sign, put your own house in order. Irish immigrant elders, the Mr. and Mrs., directly dismantled the cook stove, its bricks too fixed a reminder, grown old, serving grand houses, far past 140. Sources collide, book of plans, neighbors, shorn portals. Sometimes a loose brick will kick up under the pines, sure sign. Misdeeds put the house in disorder. Wood, stone, mortar, breath ever ethereal, shelters the dweller alongside the riffraff of time. I am old. My house is 140. I signed the deed to put my house in order. The next one I read is called Currents. Speak to the currents, pink saltwater jam, blue marmalade jelly. Speak to each breeze, brine, birth, belly. Air, full and delicious, each bite better than brioche rising at dawn, better than satchel-packed afternoon bread, laced thick with soft butters, drizzled hot honey, better than popovers steaming at twilight, long, luscious taste, lasting a lifetime, leisurely lunge, weightless delivery through double spenge bellows, then curtains, a bow, farewell to all holier than thou. Know now, this breath or next will carry you down. This poem I wrote at the end of March, but not this March, a year ago. It's called It Can Be Dangerous. It can be dangerous to wake up in the morning and go downstairs or back upstairs. It can be dangerous to read a poem or answer the phone or care or get on the highway or say goodbye. Yes, it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous to look at the sky or ask a question or cry or open a letter or answer the door or buy a ticket or feel forlorn or feel. It can be dangerous to read a poem or to go to the ocean and love that smell and feel that swell, or to think about telling a secret or tell. It can be dangerous to keep old notebooks or throw them away, or to remember or forget or never say. It can be dangerous to go somewhere new or never go looking, or to cook or not cook. It can be dangerous to read a poem or go for a swim or a walk or talk to your sister or mother or daughter or son or not talk. It can be dangerous to pet a strange dog or to say yes or no or look in the mirror or sneeze. It can be dangerous to write a poem. It can be, it will be, it may be. Oh yes, it can be dangerous to breathe. It can be, it will be, it may be. It can be dangerous to stop or to start over again. It can be dangerous. Be dangerous. And I'll close with this little one called Cake. Cake. Cake on the table, iced 7-layer, one body together. Eggs, flour, sugar, also orange rind, lemon, fine grated ginger, enough for a hemisphere, country, small state, a precinct, a picnic laid out in the rain. Ants master proportion, to each according to each ant's needs, till the last sweet beads eaten. Indivisible cake in one crumb. Did you want some? Thank you.
Breathtaking.
Thank you, Varsha.
Thank you.
So I want to thank the readers so much for sharing their work tonight. Can we give them another round? Thank you so much. And you made the night very special by sharing your work. And tomorrow we have Jessie Diamond, Susan Donnelly, and Lee Verone. So I hope you will join us. And that's it for tonight. So thank you so much for coming, and I hope to see all of you again. Thank you.
Good night, Gloria.
Bye.
Thank
so
you,
much.
Gloria.
Thank you.
Gloria,
Thank
stay
you.
safe, everyone. Thank you for the wonderful readings.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming, everyone. Thank you
All
all so
right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye,
Thank you.
Varsha. Bye, Kelly.
Bye, Lo. Bye, Kelly.
Bye, Lo.
Bye.